The following is brought to you with limited commercial interruptions thanks to the generous contributions of the Northeast Florida Regional STEM2Hub Board of Directors.
It's a world changing every day at lightning fast speed.
We had the Industrial Revolution. We have a technology revolution right now. The trains left the station.
I think what's most amazing is really the pace of change, and everything seems to be centered around technology and the evolution of technology.
Our relationships between human beings and humanoid robots will be normalized. That's going to happen. When machine learning and artificial intelligence help us make decisions, that's happening now.
It's moving at such a fast pace that it's disrupting just about every business in America.
I'd love to think we even knew what we were going to see over the next 10 to 15 years.
So think about how much it permeates our lives right now. How often we ask Alexa to do something that we used to do for ourselves. How Siri gets us to the place that we need to go. Think about that doubling 2 years from now. Then compound that with 10 years from now.
We're moving now towards a Jetsons age.
But with this Jetsons age will come a dramatic impact on our workforce. Robotic automation is rapidly changing the workplace. The result is estimated that 65% of jobs today will not exist in 10 years. There just won't be opportunities for cashiers, bank tellers, even pilots and drivers. Now, that might sound alarming, but there is actually great opportunity here for those who have the proper skill sets needed for the 21st century. Hi, I'm Melanie Lawson. Welcome to Igniting the Future, the STEM education revolution. Over the next hour, we are going to help you understand how this new world will impact our children's future. Let's face it, the world is transforming because of the advancement of technology, and it's clear that success will demand new skills, new thinking, and a new way to educate our kids so they can thrive in the 21st century.
What we need are people who can work together to harness that energy to do things that are significant. What we need are people that can think about ways to use that power to solve some of the problems that we face in the world. What we need are more engineers, more inventors, more people that can shape that in ways that are going to favorably impact our societies.
The technologies we need them to become experts in, they don't exist today. And in fact, many of the jobs that we need them to do, the jobs don't exist today.
The types of jobs that are out there, the types of professions that are out there, we're already starting to see that movement. Some people call it a gig economy because it's skill-based. So it's the less of the, this is my profession, but more of the skills that I offer. It's far more wide-ranging. So it's almost think of like your personalized career. So we'll be collaborating in quick teams to solve quick problems, but these problems are very complex in nature, so the skills demanded are very complex as well.
I am excited about the future because of where I've seen us grow and where I know we can go.
And where we're going is to that place of huge opportunity. In the world of STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, math, and medicine. There are currently over 1 million open jobs.
The state of Florida has 27,000 computer science jobs open in the state of Florida. The average income in the state of Florida broadly is $42,000. These jobs pay about double that, so $85,000 and up.
When the demand rises and accelerates at the pace it has now, it creates a huge shortage in the workforce. But the diversification of the types of positions companies want is what really makes it unique, because it's not just your traditional software developers, it's AI, it's data analytics, it's business intelligence, it's pretty diverse what companies want.
Once you see that the opportunity is real, because I think that's the thing is the kids don't know, they haven't had enough examples to see that this is something real, that if I have the exposure to programming, it's going to create real opportunities. My salary went from $35,000 up to $150,000 within just a couple of years because I had sat near programmers that taught me how to program language.
The opportunities are endless, but the challenge is getting people qualified for these jobs that haven't even been created.
So if the speed and the capability of computing power is doubling every 2 years, then what we teach people now is not going to be what they're doing when they enter the workforce. So if you think about that, what we need to do is develop young people who know that they're always in beta and that they need to know how to think, how to have computational ability, how to problem solve, how to be critical in their thinking, collaborate with others, and where to go when they don't have the information.
The world is changing faster than we can keep up with. So as educators, we're just trying so hard to push our students and meet our students' needs and prepare them for the jobs that don't exist today.
Most kids don't have someone in their home or even in their life that has been in any of these tech and computer science great careers. And so, it's really important that we develop a way, in lots of different ways, to make sure we can highlight what these different careers are for students while they're in school, while they're out of school, and while they have the opportunity to really choose the right courses and activities that they do in order to move them closer to these careers.
We have a responsibility. We have to do this. Our kids have to get exposed to these technologies. We have to give them the skills that they need to be successful, because there only will be so many winners in this new economy, and it's important that we get it here in Northeast Florida and we get it right.
So how do we go about making sure our students are properly trained for these new jobs? Well, here's the good news. The movement is already underway in Northeast Florida to help our young people become the innovators of the future. Leading the charge is a not-for-profit organization called the STEM2Hub. It was founded 4 years ago by Jacksonville entrepreneur Gary Chartrand, who was at the time the Florida Board of Education chairman.
It became very apparent to me that we were failing our kids by not infusing 21st century skills into the curriculum for our students. We finally did get computer science standards passed. We do have them today. But I thought that I'd come back to my local community here in Northeast Florida and take what I learned at the State Board of Education, try to communicate that to the business community at large. And the vision was to have the business community come together and help supplement and look for the gaps that are out there where we're not addressing these 21st century skills.
Chartrand commissioned a study to understand the state of STEM in Northeast Florida. Then, using the data, he brought together the business community to develop the mission and vision for the STEM2Hub.
We have 20 corporate board members that have invested in this initiative, and it, quite frankly, took off like a rocket.
The STEM2Hub is led by Kathleen Schofield, a visionary leader who's worked in both the private and educational sectors.
The STEM2Hub is an accelerator and a disruptor. And we bring together the best pieces of the work that others are doing and synthesize it so that all of the strengths come together to make an incredible opportunity for our students and ultimately for economic development.
And fueling the economic future requires funding today. Aaron Bean is a Florida state senator from Fernandina Beach. He works behind the scenes to help secure appropriations that drive this work.
My job as a legislator really is to remind other legislators our priority and what it should be and how far behind we are in keeping up with the demand of those high-end engineering and STEM jobs that are out there that we can't fill.
A first step towards getting those jobs filled is refreshing the educational system with the latest and innovative technology.
Since technology is disrupting just about every business in America, I think our school system needs to be disrupted as well. And so if we don't have a school system that is preparing our kids for the 21st century with 21st century skills, then we will have failed those children to take part in the American dream and the ability to earn a good living in America.
Teachers are just constantly striving, right, to find professional development and tools and resources and funding and all these things that are so difficult for teachers to do on their own.
Sometimes our teachers feel like they are in this race to help children get the right answer as quickly as possible. Engineers fail. They take the data from their failure and learn from that failure. They develop persistence and resilience. And so what we need is to provide more of those open-ended projects, more chances to think, to experiment, to learn from failure, to journal and to study, so that students will be ready to fulfill that promise.
Just like music isn't for everybody, and sports isn't for everybody, but exposure to technology is important, because if you don't expose children to what's happening in the world as it relates to technology, the light bulb will never go off.
One amazing thing that really stands out that's a bit new is how young children are starting out with pretty advanced technology, and it's really shaping expectations from parents, from community members, from teachers, most importantly about what kids are capable of at what age. So whether we're talking about AI, whether we're talking about big data, whether we're talking about coding, we're the barrier to kids really being advanced learners at a young age with technology.
Schools need to have teachers that are trained to be able to create learning environments, help kids develop complex problem-solving skills, opportunities for students to collaborate together, for kids to critically solve problems together, and lastly, to be creative. And when you have those 4 C's, right, kids will be then more curious to take risks. And you need to be in an entrepreneurial environment like the United States. We need to have kids that are entrepreneurial and willing to take risks because they have those skills and want to make something more, make something different.
We've got to have more tangible work for kids to put their hands on, creating real artifacts that are important to the students. For the orchestra and band students, standing on front of the stage in front of 400 or 500 people, that's a real performance. How do we make math, how do we make science, how do we make engineering more like that performance in the arts where there's a real audience with something real at stake that I've created or I've had a hand in creating?
If we do it right and we give the children the skills that they need to be able to compete in a global economy, the technology skills that they need, they will rise to the top and they'll be able to find gainful employment. And they'll actually be very involved in all the future inventions and all the great things technology can do.
What specifically is being done to change the educational landscape for technology? Those answers and more when we continue with Igniting the Future, the STEM education revolution. So here is the best news about the progress being made here in Northeast Florida with the STEM education revolution. Educators, the business community, and the STEM2Hub have all realized that we have an urgent need to educate our young people in a completely different way, with a completely different approach.
When I look at where we were in Northeast Florida 5 years ago, there was barely a robot here. Nobody was infusing computer science and coding into the school day. And there were not a lot of opportunities to explore things that are on the cutting edge of where technology is going. We weren't talking about things like autonomous vehicles or artificial intelligence or mixed and virtual reality. But now, not only is there a great awareness of what's happening across our communities and our schools, but people are proactively seeking it out and looking to find out, how can I get more of this? How can I give kids more opportunities to engage in these somewhat futuristic things that are really right around the corner?
We have got to get it in a part where it's embedded into our curriculum every single day. Do we have children that can problem solve? Can they synthesize multiple literary elements? Do they understand the scientific method and really diving into the scientific approaches with inquiry-based learning projects? Can we see that that's not only taking place in the junior high school, in the high school, but do we see it happening in kindergarten classrooms and second grade classrooms and fifth grade classrooms, where it's a systemic culture from K to 12?
You have to be curious, have a curious mind, and I think we have a lot of children that have that ability, and today they're just more influenced by greater technology than we were exposed to as children. But I think that's part of it, and we talk about the robotics program, right? Giving them those items and letting them take it apart and giving them the environment where it's okay to take it apart. It's okay to be creative and be inquisitive, and then they get to put it back together and they get to see it work.
And this approach is gaining momentum and attracting a lot of eyes. Crucial partnerships have begun to form here that are helping change the landscape.
I mean, we're seeing, some of the global leaders in technology come sit at the table with us. I mean, we have Microsoft sitting at the table with us. We have Lego Education sitting at the table with us. And what some people may look at as the global leader in academics, MIT is part of our solution now too. So the partnerships are real and they're growing every day.
One of those partnerships key for moving all of this forward is between the STEM2Hub Code.org, and the University of North Florida, all working together to help get teachers the training they need.
The relationship we have with Code.org is to train teachers on how to teach the K-12 coding curriculum, which is adherent to the standards of Florida, and to help teach teachers how to teach computer science. 2 years ago, 17 high schools in Duval County, only one high school was teaching computer science. This year, all high schools are teaching computer science. That partnership with Code.org helped us to train the teachers to be able to put it into the curriculum in all the high schools in Duval County.
Thanks to the partnership with Code.org, I would say close to 800 teachers have been trained to introduce coding to kids. And that translates into tens of thousands of students who have now been introduced to computer science and coding.
We have Code.org training for middle school, high school, and elementary school teachers. They come in and learn how to teach coding to their students. We also have hacking STEM lessons that are super cool, where we bring in teachers and teach them how to integrate computers and robotics into regular science classrooms.
And one of the reasons it's called hacking STEM is because we are hacking current curriculum. We are not changing what teachers are teaching in the classroom. We are changing the tools that teachers are using. So Excel becomes a tool for data science, hands-on learning, and all those 4 skills are introduced.
In Northeast Florida, we're so lucky to have STEM2Hub here to support us. There are so many things that we would not be able to do without them, not just partnering with Code.org and Microsoft and bringing resources and tools to our students that we can never secure funding for on our own. They've brought so much professional development to so many teachers here that it just doesn't exist anywhere else.
And one of the very exciting things that's happening here through the University of North Florida is our pre-service teachers are getting the opportunity to learn how to code and how to build a robot before they graduate and before they start teaching. So while we're working on workforce development for our teachers, we're also making the foundational skills of the new teachers stronger.
The STEM2Hub's partnership with Microsoft has been a game changer for the area, targeting our many military families. For one, they sponsor a yearly event called Youth Spark that has introduced hundreds of military-dependent children to STEM. There's also huge impact through a unique retraining initiative. The Microsoft Software Systems Academy teaches software development to transitioning military members.
We recognize there's a career skills gap, that we need IT folks, and the military veterans make a great transition into the IT field. The program itself, it's an 18-week program. It's 2 9-week terms. For the Cloud Application Developer program specifically, they're going to be learning C#, they're going to be learning how to code, they're going to be learning about Azure, which is Microsoft's government cloud.
This is an amazing opportunity. If you have any slight interest whatsoever in software development or in technology as a whole, this opportunity provides you just a solid foundation of having people and resources there available at your fingertips. It's kind of like getting your foot in the door, and once you get that foot in the door, it just opens up your entire world.
In addition to MSSA, which has been a tremendous benefit to our military transitioning members, we have Microsoft partnering with us to help us accelerate our work. Over the summer, Microsoft invited 30 of our regional leaders and teachers to go out to campus and spend 2 weeks learning from their experts on hacking STEM, building our technical skills, and then we got to pick a problem that we cared about and participate in the global hackathon and work with their software engineers and builders to develop a solution to something we care about that we took back, and we're now applying that in our classrooms.
And I got to tell you, we had really high expectations coming here, and it's been so much more than I ever could have hoped for. You know, you wonder on the front side, is it the right investment? I can say without a doubt now, it is absolutely the right investment.
I loved it. It's amazing to see the growth and the passion and the growth mindset that you all showed. So all the teachers day one, they had no idea what a sensor is, what real-time data is, and it was heartening to see the science fair today. where they're talking about real-time data, they're talking about building sensors, they're talking about building solar cells. Are you kidding me? It is just amazing. The growth and the learning that has happened in such a short span of time is incredible.
Amazon is another industry giant supporting the STEM2Hub. Earlier this spring, Amazon opened up its local distribution center to STEM students, allowing them the very first sneak peek into the unbelievable Amazon world of robotics and automation.
What I love most is when we have those children come up in front of us and talk about how we changed their lives by exposing them to the STEM program in one shape or form. The smiles, just like today when we visited with Amazon. Those students lit up in the room when they realized that they were receiving some tablets.
I think I'm going to be busy for a long time.
Students visiting a place like Amazon is important because the students can see coding and robotics in action. Experiences like these increase interest in all STEM programs, which are impacting young people all over Northeast Florida. Schools are offering more STEM-focused classes, and the STEM2Hub also facilitates after-school programs focused on such things as coding, drones, cybersecurity, esports, and bicycle clubs. But by far, the biggest program supported by the STEM2Hub is robotics. One of the real gems is a partnership with Renaissance Jacks. Mark McCombs is the energy behind this organization, which is vitally responsible for area-wide robotics competitions like the first Lego League.
Renaissance Jacks came from the understanding that every kid in North Florida should have an opportunity to solve a hard problem, build a robot, get the skills that they need to get a job, create generational wealth, transform the lives that they have and that of their family, and have an opportunity to really create another renaissance. And through the process of a 5-year period, we became the fastest growing region for competitive youth robotics on the globe, went from 150 kids to 4,000 kids in 5 years. Record-breaking. First headquarters came down twice in 3 years because they thought that we were doing something. Well, we were doing something. We were inspiring people. First Lego League is one of 4 programs that gets you kindergarten through 12th grade as part of the first progression of programs. And kids age 9 through 14 design, build, and program a robot. They do a research project with a presentation skit that gets judged at competition. They're all guided by core values. And if you can believe it, 2,300 kids last year built a robot, played in a tournament system that we managed, and got to a point where they could make patentable advances across a real-world theme.
I think it is the greatest program to come along. They are dancing, there's music, there's excitement, there's laughter, and everybody's working together.
If you have a competition, there's always going to be people that win. But the best part about the competitions that we host is that nobody loses. That's crazy. We call it cooperation. You go to compete, but you also teach people while you're there. That's what puts robotics and sports in 2 completely different universes. Because when you go to your football game, you're trying to crush your opponent. You go to the robotics tournament, you're trading secrets, you're learning, you're sharing code, you're leveling up, you're collaborating, you're figuring out how you can get together in the off season and trade bits of technology. It's epic. And the kids have a dance party with a DJ and some fun and some pizza, and you just got to come there to see it to believe it. You know what I mean?
It's one of the places that diversity is appreciated to its maximum. We've gone from virtually no diversity in these competitions to almost 1 in 2 kids are diverse or underserved, underrepresented, whether they be a young lady or a young person of color. So we're very excited about that.
Other huge after-school successes are thanks in part to people like the man you just met, Frank Robinson, a 35-year NASA veteran. Frank's helping STEM2Hub programs thrive at places like Community and Schools, PAL, and here at the Boys and Girls Club. This is the brand new Lawrence Lee City Teen Center downtown.
the City Teen Center. It's going to be our showroom for teen centers throughout Northeast Florida. So we're excited to work with STEM2Hub in this partnership. And it's going to be technology-based and also career-based. Those are the two things that we're looking at. So all kinds of great things, drones and coding, robotics, all of these things that they're going to be all in one place, and our teenage population is going to love it.
By working through the Boys and Girls Clubs and the Police Athletic Leagues, by working with the Girl Scouts and so many other youth-serving organizations, we have been able to level the playing field for kids.
When you see a kid who never touched a robot before, or they've never designed something before with technology and they do it, it's like, and that should be last your whole lifetime. If you're prepared and skilled, every aspect of your life is going to be discovery, and it starts when you're young.
Conversely, one place that technology is severely lacking for many students is at home. It's there the technology gap is widened even more. But that is changing as well, thanks to the STEM2Hub in a way that is changing the lives of many.
I actually went to Robert E. Lee High School and spoke with the iwth group. There was, I think, 11 young African-American gentlemen that were in high school, and I went around the room and asked how many had a computer. And out of the 11, only one said that they had a computer, and it was an old desktop that they had at home and they shared it. So it dawned on me that not only have we had inequity in underserved neighborhoods, but now we have what's called a digital divide, where poor children are not able to access a computer at home. And so giving a child a computer or having them earn a computer changes their life.
Working through partnerships, businesses can donate their end-of-life computers to be updated and refurbished for distribution to students. Some partners donate computers, others fund the refurbishment, and two partners, AuditMax and Urban Mining, do the technical work.
Our process is bringing computers back in from large corporations, from individuals, and then we're recycling those and we're getting them into the hands of kids to try to make a difference in not only Jacksonville, but all of our outlying rural areas and make sure that every kid gets the same opportunities.
And here is how one of those magical moments transpired.
Recently, we got together with the Police Athletic League, and we put together, they called it a Friday Night Live. It was basically a boys' slumber party. And it was for kids from 12 to 18 years old. And the target was to get them into our STEM arena, kind of let them see what was out there, what was available to them, expose them to it, but also give them the athletics too. I mean, athletics and STEM go hand in hand. There's a lot of science and math behind sports as well. But we wanted to be able to bring it to them in their setting with people they were comfortable with in this PAL environment. And also just get to tinker with robotics and coding and drones and see what all this hype is, because we also had to realize many of them had never seen it. And we gave them an incredible STEM experience, but we also gave them a lot of tools and keys that we feel like they could use going forward. And most importantly, at the end of it, we gave them a laptop.
Thanks to a generous donor, a couple of them, Florida Blue and the PGA Tour, each and every one of you in here will get a computer.
By us being able to give them those devices helps facilitate a path forward for those kids to dream big and accomplish what they thought they would never do.
You could never know the significance and impact that it can have on each one of these kids. It's astronomical.
For me, it's taking a child that was at risk of potentially not being successful and being the catalyst to ignite that little bit of spark in them to say, hey, we care, we're watching, and you have a shot. You have to just work for it too.
So I think that underserved area is one that's really important to us, because we don't want anyone to be left out of this. We want to make sure everyone has the same opportunity, and if it means we have to put technology in their hands, that's what we have to do.
So just what is the impact when you put a computer in the hands of a young person? We'll share an amazing story of personal transformation.
I was shoved to the side. I was put into a school where all the failures were put.
There's no doubt there is real value when you put a computer in the hands of a young person. Vincent Waugh is a senior at Lee High School, and his story will take your breath away. Vincent's story was an uphill battle with a history of poverty, homelessness, and failure.
And my mom became a single parent with 5 kids, and we're all living in the same room, sleeping in the same room, you know. And I started to realize that my refrigerator was empty, and then from there it was a spiral just to the worst, you know, from just fighting, getting jumped, you know, actually having to check my back, you know, never knowing if I'm gonna get shot.
When I first met Vince, I actually kicked him out the first day of school. I could tell he was special, he had something within him, he had a presence, but it's almost like he didn't know how to channel it or even communicate it. Every single day for 9th and 10th grade, he would tell me about how he was gonna drop out, every day.
I was shoved to the side. I was put into a school where all the failures, the considered failures that couldn't make it were put.
But there was a shining light. A number of loving, invested people, including his teacher, Amy, and a program called iwth, which fueled Vincent to begin envisioning his future.
In fall 2018, he just hit the ground running. He said, Miss Donofrio, we can really do some things, but we've got to work for it. But one thing that was really challenging is that he didn't have a computer. And that's where STEM came in. They showed up and really changed his life.
I thought I was getting in trouble. I was like, dude, I swear.
I think you'll be really excited.
You would have thought you gave him $1 million. It was the greatest moment. There wasn't a dry eye in the house.
I had been really pushing him to consider college. And around that time, he had been given an opportunity to look into a program at FSU that he was a pretty good candidate for. And when, I'll never forget, when he got the computer and he opened it up, it was like he could see himself there for the first time.
From this, being given that computer, it not only gave me an opportunity to venture out, it gave me an opportunity to realize that I want to be an asset.
He said this is a gift I would have never thought that I would get, but what it does for me, you can't imagine.
This one laptop connected me to over 1 billion different people across the world that had 1 billion different types of expertise in different categories in life. And the only things I had to do was use the tip of my fingers to reach them.
Since then, he has been non-stop, taking extra online classes, doing his homework, reaching out to people. I can't even keep up with all the people he's been reaching out to for these awesome opportunities. I just think sky's really the limit now that the door's been open for him to explore it.
He's really pushing this with everyone else in the school and showing kids that there's a better way. There's a lot of opportunities out there. You don't have to be a gang member.
There was a whole list full of people that were willing to sacrifice to make it possible. And I felt that I had opportunities. Like, this is the time to shine. Like, this is my moment. I can touch the moon. If I can visualize this, what else can I visualize? Where are we going from here?
Vince is one of many kids that are sitting out there without the resources that their potential will go untapped and potentially will become part of the problem that we have. But as you go in there and you love on them and you give them a computer and you show them the opportunity and you see them blossom, you can see how that's going to be transformative in the community more and more and more.
Unfortunately, there's too many Vincents. And that's another thing that I think the STEM Hub plays a role in, to try to educate these folks and give them hope that if they learn these skills, they learn how to code, they're going to get a job.
Without technology, dreams stay within the kids, and they never get the chance to be fully actualized into reality. I really believe that technology is hope.
But we're just beginning to scratch the surface of the immense impact these STEM2Hub programs are having on the youth of Northeast Florida. Here's an amazing school-related success story. Andrew Jackson High School, just a few years removed from being the lowest scoring high school in the state of Florida. Look at the doors that are being opened today as Andrew Jackson has become a Duval County Technology Magnet School. Additionally, they just earned the distinction of being named a Microsoft Showcase School.
Andrew Jackson is phenomenal. I mean, their principal, Dr. Clinch, has really done a great job of bringing technology to this school.
The school transitioning to be able to embrace STEM is definitely something that's unique and that sets us apart from everybody else. The population, as far as demographics, haven't really changed that much, but we're really tapping into a different set of skills in students. And so it's just been exciting to see the innovation that has come out of it and the creativity that has come out of it as well.
Andrew Jackson High School, under the leadership of Dr. Clinch, is the most incredible turnaround story that I have ever heard. But what's going on behind the curtain in that school is amazing. Andrew Jackson High School has HoloLens and mixed reality equipment that's helping kids learn in a futuristic world. They're using technology to learn, but more than that, they're building apps for other people to learn. So it's not just learning from the technology, it's creating with the technology as a tool. And that applies in their Health Sciences Academy, in their Cybersecurity Academy, and even in all of their computer gaming academies.
I have Mr. Lozano's class, and he does game simulation, and we build our own video games. We learn about the different jobs that are available. We get to do our own designs for games, and we get to just be creative with it.
I'm in the programming course, so the main thing that I'm learning this year is how to use the C# programming language and how to implement it in Unity. And pretty much it's like scripting stuff in the game, making it actually run. Anything you can set your mind to, for the most part, you can do as long as you have the right knowledge.
Our students are definitely more focused on academics now, the ones that come to Andrew Jackson. The expectations are high for them. It's a challenging environment. We have the AS degree in cybersecurity through FSCJ, an extremely complex degree, challenging degree. And so to have students fill in that program and really competing at a high level, it's really become a very competitive environment, but a healthy competitive environment.
And these are the things that are going to benefit these kids as they move towards the future. So many were kids that, as we've heard this term before, left behind. And now they see a light at the end of the tunnel as a result of the programs that they're involved in.
STEM2Hub has definitely been invaluable to what we are able to create for our kids, the experiences, to be able to truly provide an immersive experience in the classroom. They purchase VR headsets for us. They purchase HoloLens technology for us, provide training and support.
Dr. Clinch is knocking down every barrier to make sure her kids have the best opportunities available.
They have trained my instructors and provided them with enrichment opportunities. Mr. Lozano definitely embraces the partnership and reaches out whenever he can for advice, for support with our students. And it has really taken us to the next level. I believe that we have future billionaires in this building just because these kids are producing things that we've never even thought of. We have partnerships and we have some projects out that are really going to change how people view the students that come out of Andrew Jackson.
STEM success spreads far beyond just Duval County. The strides being made in Putnam County, for example, are stunning. In a community that statistics say has the most public housing in the country, technology and the help of the STEM2Hub have transformed schools starting at the elementary level.
There are a lot of incredible things happening in Putnam County, and unless you live there or were part of the STEM Hub, you may not have been exposed to the challenges they have.
Putnam County is situated in a rural environment, and with that presents unique challenges.
Our children have just not had the same opportunities that a lot of students have had in the major population centers.
If I could think about a rural community that gives me great hope for what's possible, it's Putnam County.
We've had much success in Putnam County partnering with outside organizations such as the STEM2Hub to ensure that we keep abreast with advances in technology, advances in opportunities for our kids, and we ensure that our students have equal opportunities to those in other counties. Our goal at the elementary school is to foster creativity, foster curiosity, provide kids resources, provide them robotics, provide them drone experiences, provide them circuitry experiences, provide them opportunities to look at the various areas of science and have them experiment with those concepts.
And those basic skills, starting with the youngest learners, are going to empower them to be really good at the more advanced things by building and inventing and creating.
With those basic building blocks in elementary school, our students are prepared to be able to move to a multitude of opportunities in middle school and high school. Advanced coding, for example, becomes available where students can actually code for e-commerce, code websites, when we set the stage in elementary school for those students to have those basic competencies to move on.
They have some incredible leaders in Putnam County too that have been hungry for this. They have a real appetite to change their community, and they're accelerating the things in their community in ways that probably some never thought would happen.
Over the past 3 years, the growth of Putnam County's graduation rate as a percentage of kids graduating has had the largest gain in the entire state. And that's because they're engaging kids in STEM programs that are of high interest, and they see the value. They see the careers that they can go into if they stick it out and stay in school and come in every day and work hard.
It's hard to truly express the disparity between rural and urban environments, but it's real. It's real. And the STEM2Hub has allowed us to bring opportunities to our students we would have never been able to do on our own. And it's been one that's been amazing. And I truly see where in the future our students are going to be in high-paying, high-wage technology jobs of tomorrow as a result of our partnership with the STEM2Hub.
It would be easy for them to say, we don't have hope. And you see what they're doing in 2 or 3 years, and no one has an excuse. Now, we all have the opportunities, just do we have the appetite and the attitude to really take on the challenge.
You know, we haven't had these resources at our hands until just recently, and you're going to see the students in Putnam County really flourish, and great days are ahead for Putnam County because of STEM opportunities.
So where do we go from here? And how are we set up to make the biggest impact possible? We'll hear some surprising ideas and see how Jacksonville is primed to be a national leader when we return on Igniting the Future, the STEM Education Revolution. It's plain to see, story after story. When you provide opportunity, it breeds success. Northeast Florida is a national leader in moving STEM forward.
I will tell you that the Northeast Florida STEM Hub, and this is not to knock the ones that I've worked with because they're great, it's probably one of the strongest, or the strongest in the country. What does that mean? That means its leadership is forward thinking. They have a vision. They're strategically reaching their goals, bringing together different types of groups and stakeholders, identifying problems, and then going and solving them. And they're doing it at scale. So they're not hitting pockets of kids or pockets of communities. They're bringing community together and then growing it forward. I think the model for the country is here in Jacksonville.
Northeast Florida STEM2Hub is unique in what they've done. We work across the country and in other areas internationally. And the difference here is that the community and the ecosystem was built first. Business partners were brought in. The education system listened to what it was that they wanted and needed. And then in individual places like the media center, the magic started to happen to show that this could really make a difference and kids were ready for this kind of technology. And now the individual classrooms are requesting that it spread in and permeate what they're doing as part of their fabric. By taking that slow and building that infrastructure, Northeast Florida STEM2Hub is further ahead than any environment doing this work that we've experienced.
They have schools investing in people. They have schools investing in programming and changing the schedule and bringing together district leaders and bringing together parents and community members and having this conversation about how do we impact students' lives. That's when you know that you're bringing STEM into the culture of education in a place, and I think that's quite unique, and that's really the lasting work that's going to be the legacy of this STEM Hub project in Northeast Florida.
And while working with you, we want to create a template that other states, other regions, other countries can emulate.
I think your vision and your heart and your passion is in the right place. So with you, my hope is to create something that is scalable and that other parts of the world can learn from.
I guess what I love most about what we're doing is, one, I think it's badly needed. And so we were able to pull together the community and get the right people and get it funded and get support to make it happen.
What I love about this work is I can look for the places where I just see opportunity, where I see people who are ready and they know that we have to change, but they don't really know how. And I am so humbled to be able to meet with them and talk to them and help architect what a system looks like that supports incredible learning to equip kids with the skills they need to become part of our economy here in Jacksonville.
I don't think any of us really fathomed the type of success, excitement, and energy that would come into our STEM Hub. What's probably overwhelmed me the most is the amazing amount of community support that has come out and bought into the mission and bought into the journey. Not that they want to be a passenger on the ride. I mean, they want to be part of it. They want to help drive it. They're willing to own key pieces of this delivery.
There's an old Chinese proverb that says the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best day is today. And that's why we've got to start teaching our kids the skills they're going to need for the jobs for tomorrow. STEM Hub is right there, pushing, leading, pulling the way to make sure our students have a chance and that our state and its workforce will be educated in the future to meet those jobs that are coming.
I think it's important for the community in Northeast Florida to understand what a gem you have and what impact this is going to have on the students who are in the schools here, and to provide whatever support the leaders of this STEM2Hub need to help keep this going. This is a unique and incredible opportunity to prepare the young people here for the future that they are heading into.
I think this is the beginning of something incredibly special. People are looking for an answer to these problems in education and the match of these jobs in the future. And I think that Kathy and the STEM team here in Northeast Florida, they've got it going on. And I think we're just beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg for what's coming. Yeah, it's incredible.
The opportunities in the Northeast Florida region to be a premier center for 21st century growth are unparalleled.
Economically, this may be the most important initiative in our region. We truly have a chance to transform our community to a level of prosperity we have never experienced before.
I'd like to make a plea to a few different groups. One is the parents. If you're a parent listening, learn about what's happening with 21st century skills. Learn what's happening at the STEM Hub and how your child can benefit from the work that we're doing. If you're a business owner, you're gonna need talent. There are businesses here in Jacksonville that cannot find the necessary talent in these 21st century skills. Without the talent, it's very difficult to execute your business plan. So if you're a business, support the STEM Hub because we're educating your future workforce.
We hope you've learned something over the last hour about how important it is that our students participate in the STEM revolution and the immense opportunities if they do. This is just the first of 4 educational programs we are committed to bringing you over the next year. News for Jax, in partnership with Lawrence Entertainment, will be delving into the challenges and opportunities facing our schools here in Northeast Florida. Coming in December, we will tell the complete story of school choice. We hope you'll join us again. Thanks so much for watching.